Zero of you. I have had a slight technical issue with my RAID. My 16 terabyte RAID has decided to, well, it's been acting up for a wee while and it's decided to sort of not turn on today, which is great fun. Luckily, it's all backed up off site, so nothing is lost, but I'll have to fiddle with it. But so I think what I'll do today is I'll just cut a little bit of cut a little diary piece of Elden Ring, and who knows? I had my first experience of Elden Ring yesterday, and maybe I'll keep up to date. Maybe I'll stay on top of the diary business. I've got about 3 hours worth of footage, but I think I'll just cover the basic points and leave it at that, and maybe not polish it up too well, but have it just in a kind of manageable state, so it's polishable later if I ever come back to it. I had been doing my Sekiro diary after the fact, so I finished Sekiro after about 60 or 80 hours of playing it, and I'm going back and doing the diaries later. And it's there's a daunting amount of footage to get through for that, but it's so maybe with Elden Ring I'll just try and keep up to date. So let me just bring up the other screen. I just have to give OBS a little poke, I think. Oh, it would help if I gave Final Cut an extra screen to even play with. There we go. Works for me. So let's import some media. So like say my RAID from which I normally work isn't behaving very well. So let us, I'll just use this little portable drive. Little portable drive for all my media needs. And here's a nice thing with Final Cut, because there's a folder that's all within a folder called Elden Ring. I have the setting specified. Oh, let me show you. Within Final Cut, there we go. When I import, I make keywords from both folders and Finder tags if I've been tagging things in Mac Finder. So it means I've got a keyword collection already with all this stuff in, and it's got some stills which I don't want, so I'm just going to reject those. And instead of seeing all clips, I want to hide rejected. Who wants the stills? So this is my adventure. Let's just make a new project. I'll base it on these settings. Call it Elden Ring Day 1. And I'll just base the kind of sequence settings on those of the clips, because these will be as good as the clips get. So I really want that From Software logo. There we go. Ooh, before it gets to the user agreement page, 6 seconds, perfectly acceptable. And let's give it a bit of magical VR. VO rather. So I'll do my usual. Alright. a wee introductory sentence. So I have started Elden Ring. Very simple. But through the magic of Command Post, I can highlight that, copy, and instantly turn it into it needs a place to save my audio files. I will stick it in here. Just make a folder called text to speech. Stick it in there.
I have started Elden Ring.
There we go. And I've got someone that sounds a bit like Matt Berry.
I have started Elden
I can adjust the subtitles to fit that and adjust the shots. If I was having to record this video as I went, I would probably be self-conscious about it. I would probably, it would be distracting. So much better. Oh, and it's got a generated voiceover. Keyword collection, that's nice.
So, I have started Elden Ring.
There we go. That's a good start to proceedings. Oh, what's this? I've lost. In OBS, I have lost. Oh, the left screen. That's because in Final Cut, I seem to have lost the left screen. It's better. Okay. Ooh, this is my footage. I don't want all that. But this kind of film strip view is quite useful for scrubbing through. So I'm not going to worry too much about storytelling now. So I'll make it. I started Elden Ring. I made myself a vagabond. Created my character. And you know what? I'm going to put all this character creation stuff. Let's give it a keyword collection. A keyword, rather. Right up until I say, good, I'm done. So that's about 17 minutes. So I'll call it character creation, and I've now got a keyword collection which will just give me that and nothing else. I'll stick it in my timeline, and it's a wee bit like, it's more like the Adobe Premiere when it comes to retiming clips, Final Cut, than it is like Avid, where you basically just drag the length of a clip in the timeline and it retimes it for you. But you can also do variable frame rates if it comes to that, but variable speeds. But you just a simple Shift R. Oh, I should put up my keystrokes. So it appears in the middle. Again, this is an OBS problem. I'll just give it a little poke, and there we go. You're seeing if I hit spacebar, you get a little spacebar down there in the middle of the screen, like there. Push the spacebar, there we go. Type get, it goes in there. So it just shows you the keystrokes that I'm using. So I've got, to do this, it's Control R brings up the resize, and I literally just drag it to make the clip the length I want. I'm gonna make the whole thing really short. Shorter still. And an explanatory subtitle. I've made my character an elderly vagabond called Doris. And I'll turn that into text, I'll turn that into actual speech. There we go.
Yeah. I've made my character an elderly vagabond called Doris.
Move the com and the VO over there. I can lose Command R.
I've made my character an elderly vagabond called Doris. Believe.
In fact, let's speed that up so it matches the read, and then I will finish on a still of the word Doris. There we go. So just before it changes to Doris, slice that down. I'm going to crop. And the brilliant thing about it's so quick to crop to the bit you want. Oh, didn't work. Oh, because I've done a trim. That's what I want. I want a crop. There we go. And the crop is now too severe. So let's reset. I want a crop, and it should maintain the aspect ratio, hopefully. There we go. So I'll do that. There we go.
Called Doris.
And let's stick a little arrow. I should have, there we go, a little arrow. Let's stick that over and point it to Doris. And let's make it sort of pink. These From Software games are so grim. Let's oh. Oh, that's crop. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's just resize it. A wee bit smaller, spin it around. Shift it. Yeah. There we go.
So, I have started Elden Ring. I've made my character an elderly vagabond called Doris.
Bong. Let's bring it in sooner. An elderly vagabond called Doris.
Doris.
It makes me chuckle. And then I can take all of that, end them there. So fast. Boink. Right, back to my footage with Command 1. Got to worry about all this. Jumped to my death a few times, let's go in. Subtitle. Jumped needlessly to my death before I'd even met a single enemy.
Jumped needlessly to my death before I'd even met a single enemy.
And then the real kicker is I did it several times. Did I? Thought I had. Yeah. More than once. So yeah, on a serious-ish note, I can use this kind of temporary text, temporary speech,
More than once.
to kind of line up the length of the subtitles. If this was all going to be VO, which I think these probably would be, and they were all going to be COM, the good thing about this is I can just turn off. I can because they're tagged as auto-generated speech. I can turn off the roll to silence them, and then I can start out the kind of VO tool, and as the video plays, I just read the subtitles. I don't have to have a script. I can be watching the screen, and I can, I just read the subtitles as they pop up, and it's a lovely way of just doing a whole bunch of VO. Right.
Jumped needlessly to my death before I'd even met a single enemy. More than once.
And then I could probably just say, and then I met an enemy and he killed me. Let's split that up because let's let him get a few whacks in. So then I met an enemy, ellipsis, whack, 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 and he killed me. We're don't. There we go. Use the proper ellipsis Unicode character, not 3 full stops.
Then I met an enemy.
Let's get a wee look at him. And he killed me. And he killed me. All right, we're kind of cooking along here.
And he killed me.
It's probably a bit on the long side. It'll all be on the long side. But even it's in a first pass, it'll be too long.
Then I met an enemy.
And I met an enemy. Let's forget that kind of awkward. Let's move this towards the end. Let's get rid of that screen. Ooh.
Then I met an enemy. And he killed me.
And let's wait until it fades.
And he killed me.
But that's how all From Software games begin. I'll skip all this tutorial stuff, no one cares about that. Limgrave. Oh, and someone's written Let There Be Elden Ring. And I'll step out into the...
And he killed me.
And in fact, let's just get a wee bit of that. cutscene. There we go. With him lying in the puddle. Or me. It's her. It's Doris. Him. Don't misgender Doris. There we go. Coming a wee bit to life. Just wedge that in there. And I can say, but that's how all Souls games start.
And he killed me. But that's how all Souls games start.
And I might say something along the lines of a severe arse kicking is just the prelude See, the other good thing about kind of writing in the timeline like this is that I basically want that shot to continue, but it's a bit dead air. So I've written I've written that line of VO because the shot. So I'm doing the visuals and the kind of the audio information. I'm at the same time. I'm working with the shot and the com, whereas normally you would just write your com in a Word doc and then have to kind of make the pictures fit, and sometimes it can be a little awkward. But if you can just do it all in the oneer, you can say, you know what, I don't need this shot because I don't have anything to say with it, or I can say, you know what, I'm going to come up with a line just to keep this, and it's just really quick and easy, and it flows better. And then, of course, it might all be rubbish, but then it's easier to change once it's in the timeline too.
A severe ass kicking is just the prelude.
The prelude before the game proper starts, and then I'll zoom into that guy saying "Let there be Elden Ring." Before the game proper starts. Also, not only would it be distracting for me to record this com as I go, even though I'm saying these words out loud, if I was having to record them and put them down, I would be self-conscious and worried about my performance. Even though it's in theory no one would ever hear it, I'd feel self-conscious doing it, which is a bit of a distraction from concentrating on the edit. But also it would then be a distraction when I watch back. No one likes the sound of their own voice, and I would probably be focused on whether or not I sound sexy rather than are the words correct, because I can worry about the performance all in one session at the end. So that's another reason to keep it neutral, to keep this kind of neutral computer Matt Berry voice. In the meantime, it just avoids that becoming an unnecessary distraction at this stage, which would not be helpful. So
before the game proper starts.
And I'm just going to put a couple of edit points in there, and then with this one, this little shot there, crop it up to here, and that'll blast that up there. Dead quick.
Before the game proper starts.
Let there be Elden Ring. And in fact, I'll let that last a little bit longer.
Before the game proper starts.
And here's where I want to make a little point about the fact that this first area, Limgrave in the game, it looks so much like Breath of the Wild. And I just want to note that. So I think what I might do is I'll put in a bit of comm to that effect. We'll see some shots from this, and then I'll go back and get some footage of Breath of the Wild. Maybe I'll do that now. Anyhow, so here we are in the lands between.
So here we are in the lands between.
Oh, I just realised I don't have my output. It must be the NDI virtual input. You just had a big black screen. There we go. The NDI output is very choppy though.
So here we are in the lands between.
It's not great, that NDI output, is it? Just from a streaming point of view. Yeah.
So here we are in the lands between.
Oh, am I right in thinking... Stop. This left screen isn't updating for some reason. The right screen. Why not? Here we go. Oh, so sorry, you haven't been able to see most of what I've been talking about. Pain in the arse. Thank you, OBS. My apologies. I'll keep a closer eye on the output. I can see now that, there we go, we've actually got, you can actually see what I'm talking about. Let me do another bit of comm to show you how that goes.
So here we are in the lands between.
Oh no, I've written it wrong. So here, where are, never mind. I'll fix the subtitle, but I won't bother fixing the fake computer read of the line because I'll be re-recording it. So anyway, so you wouldn't have seen you wouldn't have seen this magical creation of the computer voice for my comm here. So let's just stick a bit of comm in. I'll extend this shot out for a bit of room. So I make the subtitle. I literally write the line in the subtitle editor. So no kind of Word docs or scripts, you know. I'll make them fit the pictures, and I think about the pictures and the words simultaneously. Much better. So my line here is, and I've got to say, the first thing that strikes me about Limgrave, the first area here, and then I'll leave that. So I basically select the text, copy it, I bring up the magical command post, and then a simple command 1 creates that text as audio, and then I can adjust the subtitles so it fits.
And I've got to say, the first thing that strikes me about Limgrave, the first area here.
Oh, I don't want a full stop.
Area here.
The first area here. Is that it bears a striking resemblance to Breath of the Wild. And again, just copy that text, bring up Command Post, Command 1, and I've got myself
Is that it bears a striking resemblance to Breath of the Wild?
And let's just drop in a few shots of this kind of environment to show what I'm talking about. It's the blades of grass. It's the blades of grass with the combination of rock and kind of old ruin kind of coming out of the ground with kind of, you know, foliage growing over it. Very much the art style is different, but I mean, I can't help but think that's got to be some kind of hat tip to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So let's, yeah, those blades of grass are very Breath of the Wildy. And even that church you visit early on in Breath of the Wild comes out of the overgrowth like that, you know. It's got to be deliberate. Right, don't want to talk to you, old crone. Let's get a bit of ruin sticking out of the ground. It's kind of, yeah. So we've got ruins here. Ruins you can kind of climb over. There we go. That's the kind of gist. Oh yeah, and since I'm here, I'd forgotten this, but since I'm here, you get little bands of enemies all kind of huddled together in groups, often around a campfire. And that's very like Breath of the Wild as well. And I'd forgotten about that. So as I'm writing this, as I'm seeing it, another benefit. I'm going to slap this down here. And I'll just list the things. As I see them, and hopefully I can get from Breath of the Wild. I'll spark it up on the old Switch, which happens to be sitting right here, and get similar shots of, you know, to mix and match to make my point. But let's just describe what I'm talking about. The green. The long, well-defined blades of grass.
The long, well-defined blades of grass.
The rocks and stone monuments. The rocks and ancient ruins, rather. That protrude, they emerge. In ancient ruins. that break through occasionally. Let's try that. Here and there, that break through here and there. I can improve upon that. So hopefully I'll find that unsatisfactory every time I hear it, and I'll feel compelled to improve it, to break through here and there.
The rocks and ancient ruins that break through here and there.
And let's add that wee thing that I just thought of about the wee group of people all just kind of sticking together. And then I think there's a kind of tutorial info panel comes up in a wee minute to say something along the lines of there's some bonus involved if you kill a whole group of people. Charming. Let's stab this guy in the back. And the wee groups of people huddling together. And the wee groups of people huddling together, that'll do for now. It's just a first draft. The whole point is to keep momentum going and not get bogged down in making it perfect. Because you just need to keep momentum going. And then ultimately you'll have the whole thing on the timeline, and it's just a question of improving it. And fixing what's there is easier than trying to think of what to put in from scratch. So the putting in from scratch bit, I just want to barrel through it and not worry too much about it being, BAFTA worthy, just to get it down, make sure the shape of it is right and the order in which information is coming is right. And not that it can't be changed later, but basically have a thing, create a thing, and then we can improve the thing, which is a kind of different process with a different kind of mindset.
The rocks and ancient ruins that break through here and there. And the wee groups of people huddling together.
And then we kill a guy. A wee word about Elden Ring is that backstabs are a lot easier. Backstabs in Dark Souls and in Demon Souls and in all the other games, Bloodborne, they're all really hard to pull off. You get it wrong half the time, but in Elden Ring it's much easier. Vanquishing enemy groups, that's what I'm after. See, more backstabs. Backstabs are easy. Vanquishing an enemy group will replace... Right, let's just quote that whole thing. Let's shove that in. And a bit of column to say you even get a bonus for killing a whole group.
You even get a bonus for killing a whole group.
Let's have that com and it's associated. Let's have it spill over the thing there, and let's make this quick fire killing.
Together.
So let's just stick the knife in, immediately go to slashing the other guy. And then sticking it just at the thrust There we go. Thrusting your sword into the poor guy. I think he's already dead. We don't have to worry. We're not actually killing him. We're probably releasing him from his misery. So we can feel good. We can feel good about this violence. It's a force of moral fiber.
You even get a bonus for killing a whole group.
There we go. We don't need to read that out, but I'm going to read it because I've forgotten what it is. Your flasks replenish. The number and type of flasks to be replenished varies depending on the enemy group. You cannot replenish more flasks than your maximum amount allows. Okay. I'm only getting to grips with this. Right, that'll do for that. Oh. Wrong. There we go. Okay. What's next? Basically, I want to say that I have I summoned help. Okay. So where's that dog? Yeah. Let's just get one death. Before I do the summon. Furled finger. Stick that in, and I'll say I got fed up with my first boss.
I got fed up with my first boss.
Let's again. Just move that to the end. Speed this along, shall we? And then do the call for help. With my furl calling finger. So I called for help.
So I called for help. For help.
And then this chap helps me build the boss. Does he give me a wee... There we go. Summoned as a cooperator. That's worth zooming into as well. Let's just do the thing. Couple of edit points. Go to crop. Just make it. There we go. Just do that. One. Dead quick. And then he dispatches the boss. And then he does the heavy lifting. Oh, what's his name again? TK does the heavy lifting. I always put TK, Tango Kilo, in as a placeholder text. I pinched that from Cory Doctorow because when you go for search and replace later, it T and a K is quite an unusual combination. Doesn't happen in too many words. So if you're doing a search and replace, having a T and a K together basically highlights. It avoids actual words and just highlights all the things you need to go back and change. And then TK does the heavy lifting. Who is TK? TK is Brinzo. And then Brinzo here. I'll give him inverted commas in the subtitles. And then Brinzo here does the heavy lifting.
And then Brinza here does the heavy lifting.
And there he is, smashing that robot dog. And let's just cut to the victory. Enemy felled. And then he does a wee bow. Hey! I try and do a wee bow to him. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all this kind of boss battle and give it a keyword just in case I need it in the future. So as soon as I go through that door, here we go. I've forgotten about that. Summoning spirits. Anyway, I'm still learning about this game. So from here, this is the Erd Tree Burial Watchdog. So I'll just give all that a little Erd Tree Burial Watchdog. And then I think I'll take the one victorious runs and give that a separate keyword. It's the kind of thing that I would want to find later. Could be useful when compiling a something. Good to find it. So I'll just take an in and out there and call this enemy felled, for that's what it says. So I've got just, if I click on these keywords, at the moment there's only one clip with each keyword, but it just helps me find all these moments later.
And then Brynzar does
Get
the
the
heavy
enemy
lift.
felled one. There we go. And I give him a wee bow. Okay. So he does all the
Does the
heavy
heavy
lifting.
lifting.
Whack, whack, whack. Until the victory is won. Ellipsis.
Until the victory is won.
And I fumble around with the gestures to try to thank the noble player. I don't want a gendered term. The noble, because who knows what gender Brizna is. Try and thank the noble Brizna. Can't go wrong with the name. Brynzar, not Brizna, it's Brynzar.
And I fumble around with the gestures to try to thank the noble Brynzar.
Hey!
Well, I hope you saw that. Okay. Right, let's just scoot through the rest. I'll just say I met some giants. forget the giants. I'll say I got a horse. There we go.
It will summon a spectral steed named.
And let's see the horse. I got to mention these giants, bloody pain in the arse. There we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Spectral seed.
And got myself a horse. I just want the bit where he jumps up in the air. There we go.
Indeed.
I got myself a horse. Whoosh, and met the boss. So forget all this. Made some pals.
Everyone's been grafted.
Well, let's log this. Let's not be lazy. So this is Stormhill Shack. And let's just give that a keyword. Stormhill Shack. And I forget what her name is. She's called something like the Lonely Lover or something. So I don't need to worry about that. But I met some.
So now everyone's been grafted.
And then where's the other bloke? There's a merchant over here somewhere. So I can just say I met some friends. Oh, it should tell me her name here actually. The Heartbroken Maiden. Well, I might as well. Heartbroken Maiden. Give her a keyword as well. Right. And then there's oh yeah. Bernhal. Bernal. War Master's Shack. War Master's Shack. All these keywords will come in handy later. And Bernal. I think that's what his name is. Bernal with the H before the L. Yep. And then what I can do is I can take these keywords that are people and I'll make a folder and stick those keywords in the folder. So I'll call it characters. So I can move Bernhal, what's his face? The Burial Watchdog. Let's expand this out a little bit. Heartbroken Maiden. And I can move those keywords into this characters folder. And I could also have a locations folder, couldn't I? Oh, we're getting organized now. A new folder, please. Locations. And then I can take things like War Master's Shack and the what's it? Stormhill Shack, that's the one. There we go. So I can dial those down, but I've got my locations. And I can just click on those, and I've got all the footage from that location. Got all the clips with these characters. I love it. I love it. All right, let's just get to the end of this now. This little video is about 2.5 minutes long, so let's round it out at about 3 minutes. I think that's about as much as anybody could stand. And let's just say, and I met the boss. Let's forget this. I fought this guy for ages, but it didn't go anywhere. So there's no real conclusion to that story. I just decided to stop fighting him and go and do something else, which was meeting this fucker.
In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
And I met my first proper boss, I'd say. Margit. Ooh.
In
And I met my first proper boss, Margit.
Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
And I can just say, and he killed me.
Foolish ambitions to rest.
Oh, and ends in a nice shot of the Erd tree there. Okay. And he killed me.
And he killed me.
Foolish ambitions.
And I'll just say something like, so endeth my first session.
So endeth my first session.
And then I think I'll do a wee retime here, because how long have I got? No, oh, I've used every frame of that I can, but it'd be good to stay as soon as I get here. So what I can do is, I can set a retime in the whole thing. I think it's, no. What is, no. Retime, I've done this by accident. Retime blade speed, that's what I want. What is that? That's Shift B, right, okay. Shift B. So everything up until this little point is 100% speed. I'm just going to drag this out to the length I want it. But as you can see, it's going to gradually move from 100% to the 27% I've put in here. In fact, I can make that exact, make it 25%. Without having to put an edit point in the clip. So it's quite a nice implementation. So that should just slow down. It's a nice wee end shot. And before I play it back, I've got a feeling that this whole section here is quite long with the horse.
I got myself a horse. Got myself a horse.
Yeah, okay. So just come straight in on that.
A spectral steed.
I got myself a horse.
And then just do a cut to the jumping into this thing.
Yeah. I got myself a horse.
Everyone's
Oh, I was going to say make some pals.
And I met my first.
Oh, and I didn't put, after all that Bernal business, I didn't put him in. So I can just select my Bernal keyword. And here he is. Name's Bernal.
Seen you before. Name's Bernard. Tarnished, just like.
And I'll shove that in here and say made some friends.
Made some friends.
Oh no, but I want that to go
Fre-
over the friends.
Made some friends.
Been grafted.
Name's Bernard.
And that's enough of that. Okay, so it's only 2 minutes 50. Let's have a watch.
So, I have started Elden Ring. I've made my character an elderly vagabond called Doris. Jumped needlessly to my death before I'd even met a single enemy. More than once. Then I met an enemy. And he killed me. But that's how all Souls games start. A severe ass kicking is just the prelude. Before the game proper starts. So here we are in the lands between. And I've got to say, the first thing that strikes me about Limgrave, the first area here, is that it bears a striking resemblance to Breath of the Wild. The long, well-defined blades of grass. The rocks and ancient ruins that break through here and there. And the wee groups of people huddling together. You even get a bonus for killing a whole group. I got fed up with my first boss. So I called for help. And then Brinza here does the heavy lifting. Until the victory is won. And I fumble around with the gestures to try to thank the noble Brinza.
Hey!
A spectral steed.
I got myself a horse. Made some friends.
Been grafted.
Name's Bernard.
And I met my first proper boss, Margit.
Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
And killed me.
These foolish visions to
Took my session.
Okay, well, I can do this thing faster.
Hey!
So when he waves to me, and then also when I summon him.
And then Brinza here does.
All right, I think that's a good first draft. It's got a beginning, middle, and end. I need to redo the comm and get some footage from Breath of the Wild, but quite happy with that. After how long's it been? I don't know, but an hour 20 I've been streaming for. So there we go. We've got from something to nothing. No, that's backwards. We've gone from nothing to something, and there's something that's there. Is a fairly good foundation. I just need to tart it up and fix wee bits and add in a bit of seasoning here and there, and we've got ourselves a little video and a little record of my experiences with Elden Ring last night. So that's not bad. We've got it's 2 minutes 41 worth of video. I'm quite happy with what it covers and what it leaves out. and that represents about 3 hours of playing the game last night. So I mean, I shouldn't really have played it that long. So I should probably aim for like an hour of game, and then an hour of editing, and I should have myself a nice little diary of my experiences and events in this virtual world. And perhaps, when I've collected it all together, it might even reveal some insight. Ooh. Now, let's leave it there before we get too excited. And I'll see you next time. So I'm going to sign off now. But thank you for joining me. And sorry, that I didn't have the proper screens up for much of that. I'll try to cut down on the technical gaffes in the future. But until that future,